Your dad was a gang leader in Liverpool.
Yeah, but everything happens for a reason, you know? I think it's exactly the same way how just before we started the show, when both of you were saying about how it's interesting, we put so much positivity out there. Sometimes we help so many people. People say you changed our life, but the closest people around us we don't help. But actually, we can't help, or we find it hard to help them. But actually, there's a reason behind that. There's a reason why we are the positive one and the family members are that way. Because if the family members were not that way, we probably wouldn't be the way we are. So there has to be darkness for light to prevail, to see the light. And you become light from experiencing certain challenges. And so when you have so much darkness around you or so much negativity around you, it will eventually push one out to become the positive one. So there's a reason behind all of this, you know. It's the same thing as, you know, I see my father as very different to how I seen him when I was growing up, you know. Like when I was growing up, I would see, although I knew he loved me, he did a lot for me, but I would see this very angry, very, you know, alpha male type of character. Now I see, like he was the perfect role model I needed. He was a leader, obviously a leader in a slightly different thing, but he was a leader, and there are attributes. Like even if you look at, I'm not saying this is good, but even whatever gang leaders or even drug dealers or whatever, all these, they're systematic. There's leadership there. There is entrepreneurialism there. There are attributes there, and I believe how I am today is because there was something as a role model there to learn, you know. And it's just the intent and the direction is slightly different. That's the only thing, you know.
You can see that from a different side now, because obviously you've openly admitted you are a different person to the you of old. How difficult was that when because there's so much conflict in terms of religion, conflict in terms of the alpha male status, but you must go to a Catholic school and do what they do. You know, you learn to fight at a really young age. Do you believe how difficult was that to go from understanding that the conflict happened for that reason than when you were actually in it? Because it's easy to look back and see the positives. How difficult was that in your upbringing?
I don't think, even when I look at it now, I don't think, I don't see it as difficult, because that was life to me. That was normal for me. So it's normal to see how that is. Actually, in fact, I don't know if I've shared this before, but I wanted to be like that. Like I wanted, when I was 15, 16, I would have this conversation with my mum and dad. I would say, I want to join the gang too. Wow. Mum would be crying her eyes out, like like shouting and angry and everything. Dad would be like, yeah. Why not? Really, like that, literally. I remember when I was 15, that he actually took me to a gang, and he had already come out of the scene at that time, but he took me to a gang leader to say, oh, would you like to join? I was so excited. I was like, yes, it'd be nice to, you know, that's cool. I would finally get to fight for something, you know, and be part of something.
Can I just ask, what was it about the gang culture that appealed to you at that time?
I think it's watching my dad growing up, it appealed to me, because my dad always had so many people following him in and out, everything he did, and everywhere he went, everyone was like, hey, and I was like, whoa, that's someone powerful. So when I seen that, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I want to be like Dad one day, you know? And obviously, because that's your upbringing, you don't know anything else. It's not like I can say I want to be the next Tony Robbins, because that's not my upbringing. I don't see that. I didn't know that was a world. But I see this as wow, it's inspiring to see someone so powerful.